What's up, guys? I'm Nobody Special. And today, Evergrande got hit with a $260 million demand for a guarantee payment because they have failed to hold up their end of a bargain that was reached in October. Evergrande says they don't have it. We also got an update today from Dr. Marco Metzler from German research firm DMSA on his much anticipated bankruptcy suit against Evergrande in the Cayman Islands. You ready? Hit it. Thank you for joining me. I'm Jack Campbell, and I'm Nobody Special. And it's been a slow couple of weeks in the China housing collapse and the Evergrande story as it's developed. There hasn't really been a whole heck of a lot of news over the last few days. Well, it looks like things may have escalated overnight because I woke up this morning to news that Evergrande had been hit with a $260 million demand for a guarantee payment. And the company's saying they may not have that money. Keep in mind, they're only a few days away from their next scheduled drop dead date, as their 30-day grace period on bonds that they missed on November 6th is about to expire next week. And we have news from Dr. Marco Metzler from German firm DMSA, as he was expected to file his lawsuit against the company in the Cayman Islands at some point this week.
Well, we're waiting.
Now, before we get into that, folks, I have to ask you, could you please like this video, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that notification bell. It really helps me out and helps me to keep this channel growing, and I'd be forever in your debt. And now it is that special time. It is time to shrink my big, fat melon of a head, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of this story. Now, this is in Reuters. China Evergrande gets $260 million demand, warns of non-payment. Now, this is dated this morning. Indebted real estate developer China Evergrande has got a demand under a $260 million guarantee obligation, the company said on Friday, adding it may be unable to repay due to a liquidity crisis that has gripped China's property sector. Repayment dates under certain other agreements may be pulled forward if it was unable to meet the obligation, the company warned in a filing to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Now, what that means about these dates being pulled forward, that may be alluding to cross-default provisions, meaning in a lot of these bonds, a default on one bond is considered a default on all of their offshore bonds. So this may be the spark that sets off everything we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Reading on, its statement on Friday prompted the government of South China's Guangdong province, where the company is based, to summon Evergrande chairman Hui Kai-yang. The government said it would, at Evergrande's request, send a working group to the company to oversee risk management, strengthen internal controls, and maintain normal operations. Oh, good, the Communist Party is going to send a working group. Our problems are solved. We are saved. Evergrande said on Friday it planned to actively engage with creditors to come up with its plan to deal with its offshore debts. Yeah, let's not take their word for that. Now, the $260 million number, if that seems familiar to you, what I believe that is referring to is this bond from a joint venture that had expired back in October that they had previously won an extension on. And I had to do a little bit of digging, but I came up with this story from back in October. This is in the Economic Times, dated October 21st. China Evergrande secures extension on defaulted $260 million bond. Now, again, keep in mind this is a few months old. China Evergrande Group has secured an extension on a defaulted bond, financial provider Red reported on Thursday, offering a rare respite to the developer a day after a deal to sell a $2.6 billion stake in its property services unit failed. We all remember some of the problems that the company had in October and November where they were unable to sell a lot of their assets. Evergrande has won a more than 3-month extension to the maturity of a $260 million bond issued by joint venture Jumbo Fortune Enterprise and guaranteed by Evergrande beyond October 3rd after agreeing to provide extra collateral, Red reported, citing holders of the bond. Note to self, never, ever, ever invest in an entity with a name like Jumbo Fortune Enterprise. Good God, the red flags are everywhere here. So it looks like the agreement was Evergrande was going to post additional collateral in exchange for this 3-month extension on these bonds, this $260 million bond that they had issued as part of a joint venture. Now, those bonds had expired in October 3rd, so that 3-month extension would have gotten them to January 3rd, which really isn't that far from now. But it looks like since then, something has gone wrong. And I had to do a little bit of digging, and I came up with this thread on Twitter. Now, this is from Twitter user Sun Chartist. All right, I'm not familiar with this Twitter user, but what he's saying here is making sense. Now, this was posted on November 27th, last week, And he says jumbo fortune holders may invoke Evergrande guarantee, according to DebtWire. Evergrande has yet to comply with a condition involving a jumbo fortune private dollar bond, which could enable holders to reinvoke the builder's guarantee on November 30th, DebtWire reported Thursday, citing two sources. And folks, that is pretty much what happened this morning, although it happened on December 3rd, not November 30th. Reading on from this thread, the developer was supposed to have helped holders of the 8.5% note to monitor the debt's underlying project onshore, but has blamed the local government for not providing required certificates to make that possible, according to DebtWire. Bondholders intend to send documents to reinvoke Evergrande's guarantee of the note if it doesn't meet the alleged condition failure by Monday, according to Bloomberg. So it's interesting that Evergrande is blaming the local governments for their failure to meet the obligations of this extension, but at the same time, the local government is now sending a working group to Evergrande headquarters to help oversee their operations. So what exactly is going on over at Evergrande and in these Chinese local governments? Anyone's guess. The information coming out of China is doo-doo at best. So long story short on this one, it looks like Evergrande had made an agreement to post additional collateral and put some kind of monitoring mechanisms in place in order to win this 3-month extension of these bonds that had matured in October 3rd for this jumbo fortune enterprise group. Well, Evergrande did not meet their obligations under that agreement, and so the bondholders have evoked that guarantee, which I am no lawyer, but I believe this instantly places Evergrande in a state of default. The grace period for those bonds has expired, and that extension is now null and void. Therefore, those bonds seem to be instantly in default. Now, earlier this week, I did an Evergrande update talking about Dr. Marco Metzler from German research firm DMSA. Metzler has bought these Evergrande bonds, and he claims that he has not received the interest payments on these bonds, and that the company and the press has been lying to the whole world about Evergrande making some of these bond payments. And he said over the weekend that his lawyers were going to file a suit in the Cayman Islands, basically hauling Evergrande into bankruptcy court for that non-payment. Now, he said over the weekend that that suit would be filed this week. Well, it is now the end of the business week. We did get an update from Dr. Marco Metzler on his LinkedIn page today, and I wanted to bring that to you. Evergrande officially declared indebtedness on offshore internal bonds today. DMSA is prepared to file bankruptcy early next week. So it looks like Metzler's suit has been delayed. To say I'm a little disappointed in that would be an understatement. I have been checking his LinkedIn page several times a day all week, waiting for that update that the suit was finally filed. It has not been filed yet, but we're going to give Dr. Metzler the benefit of the doubt here. Reading on, China Evergrande Group plans to actively engage with offshore creditors to work out a viable restructuring plan for the construction company's debt, according to a company statement. There is no guarantee that the group will have sufficient funds to continue to meet its financial obligations, Evergrande said in a filing with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange today. The company said it had received a call to meet its obligations under a guarantee of about $260 million. We are vindicated by this official statement. We have still not received the interest on our bonds, although it has been widely reported in the press that the interest payments have been made on bonds where interest payments were past due in October and November of 2021. This declaration represents an event of default for all 23 outstanding international bonds valued at $23.7 billion. So Dr. Metzler is reaching the same conclusion that I am. The fact that they are now being called on this guarantee and that the bonds were due in October, the grace period expired, they want an extension, but they violated the terms of that extension. He's saying they are now officially in default. I am inclined to agree with him, but again, I'm not an attorney. This is for the lawyers to work out. Almost all will be lost and also has huge implications for the CDS market and Evergrande bonds used as collective, I think he meant to say collateral, as mentioned in my last two posts. Now, there has been a lot of chatter about Evergrande's bonds being used as collateral by firms like Ashmore and BlackRock for what we don't know. I have been looking into this. I haven't been able to get anything even close to verification on this, so I'm not going to cover this in too much detail. But the theory is that these companies are buying up Evergrande's debt for pennies on the dollar, but then using the face value or the nominal value of that debt as collateral for other activities. Some allege the shorting of meme stocks. I can't find anything supporting that, so I'm going to limit my discussion on that topic. However, if Evergrande is officially defaulted now and they're hauled into bankruptcy court and they start getting liquidated, then anything that debt has been used for collateral on would be instantly callable. And as we've seen with past black swan events with the credit default swap market, there's really no way of knowing just how leveraged this debt is, how many times it's been used and rehypothecated and bet against and bet for, and how much counterparty risk might be out there. So this really could snowball very quickly. Now here's getting on to the update about the suit. As posted last week, DMSA is preparing a bankruptcy petition against Evergrande Group in the Cayman Grand Court. This had been delayed by a few days because we needed to find a liquidator to be named in our application. Nonetheless, we eventually found a liquidator who accepted the nomination. We will update the petition with the statement of indebtedness today and file the petition early next week. So there's a lot going on today, right? We have this $260 million guarantee has been called, which, again, I've said, in my opinion, this instantly places Evergrande in a state of default. This could evoke cross-default provisions in all of these other bonds. And this could also snowball out of control because we have no idea what this Evergrande debt has been used as collateral for. This could affect the Tether story, the crypto market. This could affect the meme stocks. This could affect the hedge funds that are short the meme stocks. There's really no way of knowing until the tide goes out what's really going on beneath the surface. But it looks like this could be the start of that. Emphasis could. And again, I have to say I'm a little disappointed that Dr. Metzler said that the suit would be filed this week. But again, we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now he's saying next week because of this delay that they ran into filing the liquidator. Anybody who's ever dealt with lawyers before knows this moves at a snail's pace. So we're going to keep an eye on that story. And then hopefully we will have something more concrete to bring to you next week, as early as Monday perhaps. Guys, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell. It really helps me out, helps me to keep this channel growing. And also, just a reminder, it is Friday, and that means my weekly live stream for Power Hour will be at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time today. If you want to send me your questions or your comments, I will respond to them live. Until next time, live small and dream big.